All right, welcome back to English 2 practice test. We're going to continue with part 3 of the practice test and look at the answers below. Hopefully you had time to answer the questions already and have a crack at what the answers will be. Okay. As stated in lecture 1, we're going to put these words in order and we're going to try and figure out what the sentence is. Okay. Now, in this activity, or in this number 8, I noticed a few things. We have a lot of subjects, same ones. We have a article here, and we also have a comma. And we have a conjunction here, okay? So I'm thinking 8 is going to be at the end. It sounds like we're going to have a clause, and then we're going to have another clause. So I think 8 is going to go here, and then but is going to go here, okay? Probably have 2 subjects. So that should be but I. So it's probably something like that. Okay, that's probably correct right there. Okay. Right. So 8 isn't verb, so you're probably not going to end a clause with that. Okay. So we have a comma. So probably apple is going to be here, and then but is going to be here to join them. The subjects are there. So we're given 2 subjects, and it looks like 2 objects, and it looks like 2 verbs. Okay. Now, one verb is in the past tense, one is in the present. Okay. And it looks like this auxiliary verb is in the past tense. So probably didn't have are together in 8. So those are probably your 2 verbs, a positive in the past tense and a negative also in the past tense, the auxiliary verb taking that. This is apple. So, all right, so I think it's probably going to look something like this. I ate apple, but I didn't have cheese. Okay, so again, we have the 2 subjects, the same, 2 verbs, okay, and the 2 objects. I ate apple. I didn't have cheese. Okay, so those 2. Okay, so they contrast because these are something you ate and something you didn't eat. So the contrast is there. That just leaves these 2 words right here. I ate apple, but I didn't have cheese. Okay, so where would they go? Okay, right here. I ate an apple, but I didn't have any cheese. Okay, so kind of a difficult sentence. Oh, and make sure you add the period at the end. Okay, you can see the period here and here. All right, so in Unit 3, we talked about food and count and non-count nouns. Okay, so cheese is an uncountable noun. Okay, so we didn't have any. An apple can be counted. 1 apple, 2 apples, 3 apples. All right. All right, so in Unit 3, you can look at a sentence much like that. Okay. Let's go down to number 9. Number 9, have to the don't doctor you visit. Okay, it sounds like something about obligation. Okay, we studied that in Unit 9. Okay, so what's the subject? Doctor? You? We have an auxiliary verb, a verb, and another verb. Okay. All right. Quite simply, I'm looking at have to. Right there sounds like one word, and I'm starting to put this together. So I don't know the subject, but the verb is don't visit. Okay, and have to is a word of obligation, so have to. Oops. So don't visit or don't have to visit. So what's the subject? You? Doctor? Doctor don't have to visit? No, that'd be doctor doesn't have to. So the doctor doesn't have to visit. You don't have to. You don't have to visit the doctor. So the doctor is the object. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. You don't have to visit the doctor. Okay. Grab that right there. Your page should look like that now. And this should be a capital Y. Good. A capital letter. Make sure the period is there at the end. You don't have to visit the doctor. Okay. You can if you want, but it is not a requirement. Okay, good. All right, let's pause the lecture, and you can open up the second piece of homework for today. Okay, so press pause, open up homework number 2, and then we will continue with the practice test in part 4. All right. Welcome to part 4 of the test. You're now on homework number 2. This is part 4 of the practice test, and we're going to now construct some sentences. Okay. Now in these sentences, you're given enough information that you should be able to figure out what the question is. Look at this example here. I'm going surfing on Saturday. Okay, so we're giving a period of time and a subject and a tense. Now notice here we have the continuous present tense, the present progressive tense. Okay, so it's something that's happening now. Ooh, what are you doing? I am going surfing. Okay. No, in fact, he's not going surfing now. He's going surfing in the future. Okay. So in the future, he's going surfing. Okay, so this is something we studied in our textbook about how we use present tenses to talk about the future. Okay, so we know that this person knows that she is going surfing in the future. She's very sure of it, so sure. And she's so sure of her plans that that she's using the present tense, even though it's still in the future. Okay, so nothing's going to stop her from doing her activity. Okay, so we're going to write a sentence here. It's a question. The question is, what? Doing Saturday. Good? No. What are you doing Saturday? Saturday? On Saturday. You can see that here in the example. Okay, so on Saturday. That's what we're doing for that. Okay, good. So the question is the same. Using this is an answer. So in the question, we're going to have the proper subject. The grammar is the same. Be verb, ing, and the name of the activity. Okay. So what be verb and then the ing. So that the tense is the same. Here, you know, the answer is for what is go surfing. So what are you doing on Saturday? I am going surfing on Saturday. Okay. Okay, good. So you can figure this out from the question. Number 11, same thing. If I lose my phone, I will have to buy a new one. Okay. All right. So what we can do in this case, we have an if clause. Okay. And you have the modal is will, so we're looking at the present tense here. This is the first conditional. We're talking about a possible event in your life. So with this kind of question, you can just simply repeat the if clause. Okay, because without the if clause, you're just given a very basic sentence. So if you lose your phone, what will you do? So that's the question we're asking here. Okay. If you lose your phone, what will you do? If I lose my phone, I will have to buy a new one. So you can see how this relates. In one case, the question, you're saying this. So you in the question, I in the answer. The possessive changes as well. If you lose your phone, what will you do? Okay, I will buy a new one. Okay. Okay, good. All right, number 12. I've been listening to the lecture for 20 minutes. Okay, so one thing we'll notice right away, again, these time forms. Okay, so for 20 minutes. Okay, this looks like something that we studied earlier in, right, so in here, she has been studying piano since 4 years, for 4 years. So in fact, you might have some of the answers right here in your own test. Okay, I've been listening. And the grammar is the same as well. Okay, I've been listening. Okay, so the verb, the main part of the verb is listen. Okay, but you have the have, the past participle, and the ing. Okay, so we're looking at the present perfect continuous, right? Present perfect progressive, I guess they call it. So I've been listening to the lecture for 20 minutes. Okay. So what's the question? We're given an activity. Okay. So maybe they're asking what? So that could be possible. What have you been doing for 20 minutes? I've been listening to the lecture for 20 minutes. So that's a good answer. Let's do a better answer and find out something else. Okay. So instead of asking what, it seems to me the focus is on, and the answer is on the time. Okay, it's a period of time. So I'm going to ask a how long question, right? So that would answer this this answer right here, for 20 minutes. Okay. So how long? Okay. You have been All right, and you notice the mistake? Good. Okay, so again, in the statement, I have been listening to the lecture for 20 minutes. Okay, okay, and that's the grammar we're looking at there. Have, the past participle, and then the ing. Again, the past perfect progressive. Okay, but in a question, we'll put the auxiliary verb in behind the subject. How long have you been listening to the lecture? Okay? And you can see that in the structures where we, again, this is in Unit 12, so you can look at these structures there. Okay? But again, with any of these answers, the grammar is given, the subject, and the information. It can be a bit tricky to find exactly what information, but then you have more options. So how long have you been listening to the lecture? Or what have you been doing for 20 minutes? Or who has been listening to the lecture for 20 minutes? Probably not the real question, but they're grammatically correct. Okay. Okay. Let's continue down to the last part, part 5. All right, part 5. Much like part 4, you will have 2 points for each answer. Okay, so it gives you more. We're giving you more time to answer the question, so you have more time to think about how you're going to answer it. Okay, so do your best in these answers, and we'll look at how to answer these 3 examples. Now, please understand these questions are not on the test. Okay, there'll be questions from the book or similar questions that we studied. Okay, that we studied in the book. Let's go to number 13. What will you do if the weather is nice tomorrow? Okay, so again, the subject here is you. Okay. So you can give us your own opinion on this. Okay? You can figure out what your own opinion will be, and you can write it down. What will you do if the weather is nice tomorrow? Now, if you want to precede it with the if clause, the weather is nice tomorrow, comma. So what are we looking at? What will you do? So that's the question we're trying to answer here. What will you do? So this, if the weather is nice tomorrow, I just rewrote that here. Okay. Now you don't have to write that if you don't want to. I'll just put parentheses around here. In fact, maybe you shouldn't. It'll just be more of a problem. Okay. So what will you do? Okay. I will do what? I will do what? Okay. So you can't write that. Okay. So you can't just phrase the first 4 words there. You have to answer the question. So I will. If the weather is nice tomorrow, I will ride my bicycle. Good. Okay. So what are you going to do? What will you do? I will ride my bicycle. Okay. So again, if you don't want to put this if clause in the sentence, no use repeating it. That's fine. What will you do if the weather is nice tomorrow? I will ride my bicycle. Good. That's a good answer, and you can use that for your test. All right, number 14. Oops. Number 14, how often do you go to the gym? Okay, so how often questions we studied. Try that here. Okay, so how often? So how often questions, I don't think we studied this in the practice test, but you certainly studied it in English 2, and I think in Unit 2. And sometimes people use an adverb of frequency. Okay. So let's just start with the base of the sentence. Okay. So how often do you go to the gym? So what's the subject? I, the verb, go to the gym. Okay. How often? Okay. So that's a good stem. I go to the gym. Subject, verb, object. Okay, with a preposition in there. Okay. Now to answer how often, sometimes people will put an adverb of frequency. They'll say always, or sometimes, or often, or rarely, or seldom, or never. Okay. So if you did write a word in here, I never go to the gym. And that's where you'd put it, just behind the verb. Okay? So I never go to the gym. There's an adverb of frequency. An adverb describes the verb, and the verb, in this case, is go. So you're just going to describe go. Okay? How often do I go? Never. I never go to the gym. Okay? Another option is that you could put a number of times, okay, divided by a period of time. Okay, so I go to the gym once, and the period of time, a day, a week, a month, a year. Okay, once a year is almost never. So you could probably say rarely or seldom or hardly ever. I go to the gym once a week. Okay, and you don't need that in there. I go to the gym once a week. Okay, or I go to the gym three times a week. Okay? So again, the number of times in a period of time. Sometimes people use the word per, 3 times per week. That sounds dumb. Okay? This is much more common. Okay? That's what we mean. And when I write something like this, I mean per. But it sounds funny to say it, unless I'm talking about mathematics or something. I go to the gym 3 times a week. That's how often I go. Okay, good. There we go. All right, and the last question. What should I do if I want to reduce stress? Okay, so we're looking for advice. What should I do? I don't know what to do. What should I do? Okay, please help me with information that you know and I don't know. Okay. So what should I do if I want to reduce stress? Okay. So if you want to reduce stress, okay, what should you do? What should I do if I want to reduce stress? If I want to reduce stress, if you want to reduce stress, you should take yoga. Okay. So as I said before, if you don't want to include this, you can just simply take away this whole if clause. Okay. What should I do if I want to reduce stress? You should take yoga. Okay. So that's a good answer right there. Or you should drink tea. Okay? You should sleep more. You should meet with friends more often. Okay? So any sort of advice, okay, but the same structure. You should do. So you should do. You should drink tea. You should do this. You should do that. Okay. All right. That concludes English 2 practice tests. Okay. Your test will be next week. It will feature, as I said, 32 questions. Okay. Most of the questions are 1 point, but part 5 and part 4 are worth 2 points. So you should be able to do that. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Good luck on your test. Good luck on your other tests. And maybe we will see you at the exam. And maybe we will see you next semester. Thank you very much.